Every department hit its number. Sales won the accounts. Operations delivered on time. Customer service answered faster than ever. The dashboard was green from top to bottom. And the business still lost margin, cash, and some of its best customers. How can that happen? How can good numbers lead to bad decisions? Because a KPI can be accurate and still point people in the wrong direction. Green is not the same as healthy. Today, we're looking at the KPI trap, why it happens, what you can change, and why the quality of your measures affects the value of the whole business. I'm Chris Wimsus, Commercial Growth Advisor and founder of Hawthorne Advisory. Welcome to Why Businesses Stop Growing, the podcast for business owners, CEOs, and investors who want to build stronger, more profitable, and more valuable businesses. So what, right? Let's pick the sweet corn out of that dashboard. Picture a fictional services business called North Star. It's growing quickly, so the leadership team introduces 3 targets. Sales must win 120 new accounts this quarter. Consultants must achieve 90% utilization. Customer service must answer every inquiry within 2 hours. Sensible enough, yes? At the end of the quarter, North Star has hit all 3. The sales target is green. Utilization is green. Response time is green. But acquisition cost has climbed. Discounts are becoming routine. Consultants have skipped documentation and training. And customer service is closing tickets before the underlying problems are actually solved. Cash is tighter. Rework is rising. Repeat business is weakening. The leadership meeting becomes a defense of the scorecard. Sales explains why its volume matters. Operations explains why utilization is impressive. Customer service points to the response time graph. Everyone has evidence. Nobody has quite answered the commercial question, are we creating better customers and a more profitable business? This trap usually starts with a reasonable need for control. As a business grows, leaders want visibility. Are sales conversations happening? Is work moving? Are customers getting a response? Measures appear because they are useful questions. Then the easy numbers become the important numbers. Calls made, proposals sent, tickets closed, hours billed, orders processed. But calls made are not useful customer conversations. Proposals sent are not profitable opportunities. Tickets closed are not problems solved. Utilization is not productive capacity. And a fast response is not necessarily a good response. Every number has a behavior attached to it. The question is whether that behavior helps the business or merely helps the number look better. And this is where the cross-functional trouble begins. Sales is rewarded for volume. Operations is rewarded for efficiency. Customer service is rewarded for speed. Finance is rewarded for cost control. Each target can look perfectly sensible on its own. Put them together though, and you may have a machine that grows revenue while destroying contribution, quality, and trust. North Star's sales team wins the extra accounts by discounting and accepting customers who are a poor fit. Operations then works harder to deliver for them. Consultants protect 90% utilization, so they leave no room for process improvement or account development. Customer service clears the queue quickly, but the same issues return next week. Nobody is behaving irrationally. That's important. People are responding rationally to the signals they've been given. If the business rewards new account volume, people pursue volume. If it rewards speed, people optimize speed. The failure is not necessarily individual motivation, it's the commercial system around the individual. So how do you spot the trap before profitability suffers? Look for the gap between the reported results and the lived experience. Are targets being met while cash conversion gets worse? Is activity increasing while margin stays flat? Are complaints, cancellations, or rework rising? Are managers debating how a figure was calculated instead of deciding what to do next? Another warning sign is a measure with no practical owner. Everyone is accountable in theory, but nobody has to act when it moves, or one team owns a number it cannot influence. That creates reporting theatre. People produce explanations, but the measure changes nothing because the person receiving it has no lever to pull. Now, you don't fix this by throwing away every activity measure. I can hear the objection, but Chris, if we stop tracking calls, response times, or utilization, how do we manage the operation? Fair question. Don't remove a measure simply because it is imperfect. Give it a job. Test whether it predicts or improves the outcome you care about. Start with the result the business actually needs. Is it profitable revenue, cash generation, retention, delivery quality, customer value, greater capacity? A stronger business for an investor or future buyer? That is your outcome. It may move slowly and several teams may influence it, but it tells you whether the strategy is working. Then ask what should move before that result moves. Those are your leading indicators. For North Star, it might be the proportion of opportunities that fit the agreed customer profile, have a confirmed commercial need, and meet a minimum margin threshold. It could be the percentage of new customers reaching their first useful result within 30 days. A leading indicator is useful only when there is a credible link to the outcome. If consultants complete more internal documentation, does quality improve? If sales holds more discovery conversations, Does qualified pipeline improve? If customer service responds faster, does resolution improve? Don't assume the connection, check it. Finally, look for warning signals. These tell you when a useful trade-off has become a damaging one. Discounting is rising, rework is increasing, payment is slowing. One customer is becoming too important. Overtime is now normal. Repeat business is falling. Warning signals stop a green dashboard becoming a green light to carry on regardless. So that gives you 3 questions for every important measure. What outcome does this represent? What behavior is it encouraging? What damage could it hide? Short questions, difficult answers. And if a KPI cannot survive those questions, absolutely not. It should not keep its place merely because it has always appeared on the monthly report. Let's return to North Star. The target of 120 new accounts does not have to disappear, but it should stop standing alone. Alongside volume, leadership tracks the number of new accounts that fit the agreed profile, expected gross margin, time to first value, and active retention after an appropriate period. Now the conversation changes. The sales director cannot simply say, we won the accounts. The better question is, did we win the right accounts at an acceptable margin and set them up to stay? That is a commercial conversation rather than a departmental victory lap. The same applies to utilization. Keep it if it helps you understand capacity, but put it beside quality, rework, employee resilience, and the time needed for improvement. 90% utilization may be excellent for a short period. If it prevents the business from fixing recurring problems, it is not efficiency, it is deferred cost. And response time, keep it if customers value it, but pair it with resolution, repeat contact, and customer retention. A quick reply that sends someone through 3 more handovers is not a service success. It is a fast start to a slow experience. One accountable owner matters here. That does not mean one person does all the work. It means somebody convenes the discussion, investigates movement, and recommends the next action. Shared contribution is healthy. Shared ambiguity is not. Don't launch a grand reporting transformation. Pick one commercial outcome that matters. Map the few behaviors that should influence it. Add the warning signals that expose dangerous trade-offs. Give each measure an owner. Then test the arrangement for a defined period. Watch what people do differently. Are poor fit opportunities challenged earlier? Are sales conversations improving? Does onboarding become more deliberate? Does margin hold up? Do customers reach value sooner? If behavior does not change, the measure may be too remote, too vague, or simply disconnected from a real decision. This matters well beyond the monthly meeting. Measurement shapes leadership. If departments arrive to defend their figures, you are managing reporting. If leaders arrive with a shared outcome, a clear owner, and an honest discussion about trade-offs, you are building commercial judgment. It matters to investors and prospective buyers as well. A business that depends on a few experienced people knowing which numbers to ignore is fragile. A business that can show the link between customer value, profitable revenue, cash, and accountable action is easier to understand, easier to manage, and easier to scale. That is business value in practical terms, not a prettier dashboard, not more reporting. A company that notices the right problems sooner, makes trade-offs deliberately, and is less dependent on individual judgment. Time kills deals, and poor measurement quietly kills value long before anyone notices the warning light. Before your next performance meeting, take one KPI that everyone proudly reports. Ask what outcome it represents. Ask what behavior it encourages. Ask what damage it could hide. Then decide whether to keep it, redesign it, or remove it after a proper test. Keep the important outcomes visible. Add only the leading indicators that help people act early. Watch the warning signals. Give every measure a clear owner. And remember, activity measures are evidence to investigate, not proof of success. Follow Why Businesses Stop Growing and share this episode with another owner, CEO, investor, or senior leader who may be measuring effort while missing the outcome. Then tell me which KPI you'd remove, challenge, or redesign first. Share it on social media and tag the show. The useful commercial conversation can start with one uncomfortable number. Thanks for listening to Why Businesses Stop Growing. Until next time, keep asking why.